Hey everyone, it is Thursday. It's the day before market. And I've got to do some pricing. I've got most of the cars straightened out. I feel a little bit more energetic today. I've taken out the things that I do not need from the car. And I got to put in the wagon, a chair, and my plushies. And then my one tote that has like my tablecloths and the lighting and all that. I'm waiting on one more light to finish charging, and then that can go back in the car. So the plushies, I just have to put price tags on some of these things and fix my bags, because, you know, we went through and we were like narrowing down what we were going to take to the combined market with Sue. So I need to get all that straightened back out. So that's what we're working on today. I just got finished sorting my price tags to reuse them. And then I will have to make some new ones. I've got my iPad here to add it into my inventory. My new square thing is charging, and then I have to pair it with Bluetooth so that I can use that. But just in case I have issues with that, I'm taking my other one that just plugs into my phone to be on the safe side. So let's start with pricing. And this one that I showed you yesterday is the first thing up. We already have a tag made, so I just have to put that tag on it and enter it into my inventory. This looks so different. I don't want to edit. So we come in here, description, generate description, category, options, stock on hand. It says 1. Did I already add this? It says I have one because I have the other one. Okay. There we go. Stock received. I had to press on the number 1. Check. Save. Save. This one is in. We don't have any of those to price. Don't have any of those to price. So some of them, when I had multiple of the same number, I put in these little poly bags and put a little paper in it so that I would know what it is. I don't have any more myrtles yet, but I'm going to try to make a couple today. Hopefully I get to it. I feel like I think I can do more than what I can, if that makes any sense. So let's see. Chicken eggs, that is number 116. So let's pull that up. And I did manage to get 3 white ones made last night. Oh, well, through yesterday afternoon and last night. I was moving so slow. Heather said this one looks like Elvis. So I did a pale yellow, a mustard yellow, and a rust. So I just need to put the tags on these, and they can go in with the other ones. And as you can see, I have a whole lot more tags in this little bag than what I'm using up, because I don't have as many made as I usually have on hand. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 less than normal. These are, I'm hoping they remain a good seller. I don't think that they were just an Easter thing, because when I introduced them, it was before Christmas. And they've sold well at every market so far. Hopefully it stays that way. So we got to add 3 to inventory. I don't think I have 7 over there. Hold on. As you can see, this has slowly been shrinking down. How many do I have? I have 2, 4. I have 6. So what happened with that? Did somebody steal one on me? So instead of adding 3, I'm going to add 2 so that my quantity is correct. Stock received 2. Check, save. Okay, so these can go into this bag. I like to put these small things in bags because it just makes it easier. Come setup time, everything is all together. Save. And I'm not having to hunt for them. Now let's see, did it actually keep it? It did. Okay. So that is done. I made 2 other things yesterday in my slow moving stage. I found one more color of Mystical. I had 2 little partial balls of earthenware, I think this color is called, and made one more snake. So that gives me quite a few snakes. And what number are the snakes? I don't know. I'm going to say, is this snakes here? This is snakes. See if I have enough tags. The last thing that I got made yesterday is something new. Because, you know, I just have to. I just have to. I saw this pattern come up on Instagram, and it's so cool. No idea who the designer is, but I'll link it if I remember. If I don't, just remind me if you're interested in it, and I'll tell you what it is. So this is a banana chicken, you know, that kids song, chicken, banana, banana. And it's like the post said somebody had to do it. You know, it just had to be done. So here it is. I thought it was the cutest little thing. The banana peel is the wings. It does get a little tail. I did change the way the feet were done. I just didn't care for how the feet were done, so I changed it and kind of did it leggy frog style, but not quite as long, so that they would look like little chicken legs. But I think this is very cute, and this tripod is annoying me. I'm going to duct tape that thing so that it cannot do that. So this will have to get a new price tag. But those were like 3 chicks and eggs, 1 snake, and a banana chicken. That's all I made yesterday. I'm hoping that I can get a few things made today. At least a couple of myrtles. Because those, I only have 5, and those do really well. So, I mean, last market I sold 4. I can't come home with just 1 or I'll be panicked. I'm like, oh, okay. Let's put our tags on the snakes. I have all these little tags laid out in front of me with all the things that are either on the table or I am hopeful to make. I think most of it is hopeful to make. So 2, 4, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 snakes getting added to the inventory. And that is number 121. I see 3 over there. It says I have 4. Did I stick one in that bag, not realizing it? I don't know. I have to go look. All right, so I got my little tags made. Like I said, I did not see another one. So, I mean, it's possible I didn't find them all, and there could be one in the other bag, but instead of adding 11 to my inventory, I added 10, and I can fix that when I set up at the market if I find a straggler snake. So as far as that banana chicken goes, I think I'm just going to make the one and take it with me and see what happens with it. I can see that kids song. If you don't know what it is, you gotta do a YouTube search on banana chicken song or banana chicken dance. And yeah, I can see that being about as annoying as Baby Shark. So there's that. But I'm going to take and display my couple of bananas that I have with my Rowdy Roosters. Stacy makes pattern that I have a few of those chickens. And I'm going to display those next to each other because in the little video clip that I watched on it, you've got this chicken that's dancing. Then you've got these bananas that come up and dance. Then it goes back to the chicken and then to the banana. And it's a little kids thing, so it's catchy. It's got a good little beat to it. I can see that being very popular with the kids and very annoying to the parents. So there's that. Let me put these in the bag. Okay, that bag is full. And that's the stuff that, most of the stuff that I took with the market with Sue. And the other things that I'm not taking, that bag is already set aside. I just picked through and picked out some stuff. I mean, the other things are still tagged, so at any time I can add them to the bag. But for now, there's certain things that, you know, I just have to take with me. Just have to. Okay, so now we have the chameleon. What is the number on the chameleon? I think that it's a high number because it's one of the later things that I made. No, that is Perry the tall platypus. So we can go ahead and tag this, and I'll need to make one more. It says that it was sold out because I only had one of this size with me. So we need to make one more tag for that. These small tags are glossy, so you have to give it time for the ink to dry. Otherwise, you're going to have ink on your plushies. So not super fond of that. See if we can find the platypus. Not platypus, the chameleon. It's still going to be a high number. So 1, 8, 9. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. 1, 8, 9. No, that's the mini platypus. 189. All right, so I made extra of these, so I have to make a few tags for this one too. So I need 3 of those. Number 189. So I did 4 of these. Now I don't have this listed separate from the other mini platypus. So I think it should say I have 3 in inventory, and it does. So I'm adding 4 more. So that's going to give me a total of 7. But 4 of them are the Perry colors. So but I think I can remember that because they are so bright and cheerful, and because they've been doing so well, I had to place that yarn order, so there's that. Not the small one, but the bigger ones. I've had them at 3 markets and have sold out. I had the smaller ones. I only had one in this color at 1 market and it sold out. So we have the 4 of those. So that is in inventory. We're still looking for the chameleon. It's a high number. What other high numbers? I know I have the number here because I'd already picked through these. Let's try number 159. It's a big drop from the 80s. There it is. If I would have flipped it over and looked at the price, I would have known what it was. Okay, so this is also one that I would have loved to have been able to get a couple of more done. But my superhuman crochet abilities have been lacking this week. Okay, so that one is in there. We just have a few items left. 2 of them we have to make, or 2 or 3 of them we have to make new numbers for, put them in completely. Not sure if I'm gonna take the bunny. All right, so search keychain, chicken, there we go. That is number 60. So I have 2 of those made, which means I gotta make another one. So we're gonna add 4 to our inventory. Stock received, 4. Gives me a total of 5. Save. And then we have blueberry. Now we sold out of blueberry keychains. I had 4 of them at the festival. I needed more, but I couldn't find my parts, if you remember. Now, it says stock on hand -1. So I must not have added the 4th one that I did get made to the inventory last time. So this is number 62. Actually, I think I had one that didn't have a tag on it too. Get this in here. Let's see, how do we correct that? Stock received. If I have -1, I need to tell it 2, and that brings it to 1. Perfect. Which, I mean, technically I did sell it. I just didn't have it in there. So that's nice to know if you miss putting something in, or your count was wrong and you have more than what it says, you can still go ahead and ring it up and it will account for it. What else do I have? I have this frog, but I don't think I have a frog keychain item. I do not see a number 58. Did I get rid of number 58 because it was miscellaneous? Am I not seeing it? 51, 54, 63, 62. Come on. Maybe I just haven't sold it yet, and that's why I don't have a tag. All right, you guys, it's now Thursday night, about 11:30, and I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed. I think it's been a pretty successful day. Car's taken care of, except for putting the plushies in. Everything else is in there. I got my new square reader paired up to the tablet, so we're going to get to test that out tomorrow. But of course, I will take my little plug-in doohickey thing for the phone just in case I have issues with that. And what else did I do? Oh, I did get to make a few things. Of course, not as much as I thought I would get done, because, you know, I kind of expect more than humanly possible, especially when you have all the distractions and, you know. So, what did I get to make today? And this is the last of it. I will not be making any more tomorrow morning. I need to straighten my mess out because this place is a wreck. I made 2 yellow chicks on a swing. This is one of the 2 swings that I am out of. The other one that I am completely out of is the otter, but I did the 2 yellow chicks instead. I got a few keychains made. This heart is supposed to be like a strawberry. This one, I think it's supposed to be dragon fruit. And this one, that is watermelon. So 3 heart keychains. And then just one little mushy boy. And I did it in hibiscus pink. And then only one, Myrtle the turtle. And I did this Myrtle using the Mystical in Sunshine and Fresh Green. So definitely didn't get everything done that I would have liked to, but I'm not going to fret because I have plenty of stuff. I am not worried in the least about not having enough stuff. So anyhow, I'm going to go to bed. It's been a long day. And we will check back in with you tomorrow. Okay, it is Friday. It is market day. And we are just about ready to leave. Everything's loaded in the car except for the drink cooler and me and John. So, this time we know where we're going. We have the same booth as last time. And I've already taken some ibuprofen, so hopefully that prevents a headache. And yeah, it's hot in the sun, but it feels really nice in the shade. So hopefully it won't be too bad. All right, so we'll see you when we get there. Okay, we are all set up. Kinda, sorta. John says, oh, don't get me just sitting here. Well, he was my hero and put up the canopy, so nobody will be making fun of me this time. So, the whole reason the banner was made was this particular market. And I got a little space left on the table. Felt super unorganized today, but that's all right. We'll get back in the swing. And I think before anything happens, I'm gonna go find the little girl's room. Okay, it looks pretty quiet today. Not as many vendors as last time. It's probably the heat. Pretty cool stuff. Just sell anything while I was gone?
No, I didn't.
Look up. No? Nothing?
Not a thing.
All right, it is 5:45. We're 45 minutes into it supposedly opening, and we just had our first sale. But it's very quiet so far tonight. The entertainment is just starting to show up and set up, and we'll see what happens from here. But that first item, it was that what are those called? Dachshunds? Dachshunds? The wiener dog. However you pronounce the actual name. So now I have to make more. All right, we'll check in a bit. So we're back for an update. It is 7:30 and I am bored out of my mind. Definitely not as crazy as it was last time. No headache. The kids are pretty much behaving themselves this time. But there's just not as many people here as last time. Entertainment might have something to do with it. I mean, she's trying, but she's not as good as the guy was that was here before. And yeah, I'm bored. I mean, I've at least made my booth fee back, but that is pretty much it. And I'm watching these two girls. So it's just funny, they have to pick up everything. Sorry, I was just watching them because I'm like, yeah, no. But is your battery dead yet, John? It's pretty boring. Anywho, maybe I'll check back in a bit. So it is now 8:16, and it hasn't gotten much better. It's a very slow night, but at least now that the sun is going down, it's starting to cool off. And my battery died in my fan already. That didn't even last 3 hours. One that I know of. I had it on high though. I did, I will admit, I had the fan on high. So, but yeah, it didn't even make it 3 hours. That's not good. Last time we used it, well, when we had the hurricane, I used it at nighttime and I had it on low and it ran all night. So it can do low real well, but on high, didn't make it 3 hours. But it's a good thing it has cooled off a lot. Oh my goodness. I'm watching the kids. Craziness. All right, we'll check back again. So I thought I was being slick with these coffee cup holder things for the swings to get them off the spinner rack, but as it turns out, they still mess with it on this. They have stretched this one out so much that it's like just almost touching the shelf. So I think next time we're gonna come up a shelf higher. Yeah, I don't know what else to do with it. Well, happy Sunday, everyone. I was going to do this yesterday, but I got wrapped up in this project that I started to do, and it ended up taking me like 12 hours, and I'm still not finished. I have some finishing touches that need to be done to it, and then, yeah, I'll be able to show it to you on Wednesday. But the plan was to have the recap part of this recorded and everything edited and just set to go, and then my whole day Sunday would be free. But instead I decided to have my whole day Saturday be free. Anyways, so we went back to the Wild Child Market. It was a lot slower this time in the beginning because it was hot. And I had a lot of people comment that they waited to come out because of how hot it was. It was like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it was 90 degrees Fahrenheit. It's very warm. Now, it wasn't too bad because I got to be in the same spot that I was in last time. And we're halfway underneath the building's canopy, so we had automatic shade there. And then, of course, the shade from the canopy. And I don't know, it just, yeah, we worked up a little bit of a sweat setting up, but it wasn't like being out in the direct sunlight because we did have that partial shade to work under. So that was a big bonus. I did recognize some of the same kids as last time. but they were much better behaved. So Nancy, I think you were right. I think, I mean, I only have the 2 markets to compare, but I think you were right with the whole spring break scenario that, you know, the kids just went for a week basically with no structure, and, you know, they were a little crazy, which means, oh, if that is what the scenario was, that over the summer it will be really crazy. That being said, of course, I forgot to take my after video because by that time, the battery in my fan had died. It was wonderful while it was working, but I put it on high in the beginning, and then I forgot to change it down to medium or low, so it didn't last the whole night. But it was great while it lasted. Yeah, so, I mean, it was a pretty smooth setup, with the exception of I thought I was going to be slick, and I told you before there's like 5 entrances into this courtyard. So I went around and parked on the other side where to the entrance that would be closer to where my booth is at. So we wouldn't have to, you know, we weren't carrying, we were wheeling, but we wouldn't have to wheel things in as far. So we get parked, we get the wagon all loaded up and the canopy out, and then we're ready to head over to the spot, and I scan around. There's no ramp. No ramp to go up to get on the sidewalk. So we get over to the sidewalk, and John he lifted the front while I made sure nothing fell off the back. And then he came around and we switched sides, and he lifted the back up. And then, you know, I made sure nothing fell off the front. So I'll have to be mindful of that next time I go, to make sure we park where there is a ramp. I'd rather walk a little bit than take the chance of either one of us throwing our backs out, trying to lift it up onto the curb. But yeah, setup went pretty smooth. We didn't get the first sale till close to 6 o'clock. It was, like I said, a lot slower. There seemed like there were less vendors there this time. And I'm sure it's the heat, because, I mean, there's plenty of people there, you know, to shop. At least there was the first time. And there was another crochet vendor. I did see some kids carrying around the stuff, you know, some of her stuff. So both of us did sales. Okay, so that being said, this market this past Friday, it wasn't anything to write home about, but it's nothing to cry about either. I mean, basically, okay, say my first sale was at 6 o'clock, so I had 3 hours worth of sales, and, you know, we did okay. Again, nothing to write home about. Anything out of the ordinary? Not really. I mean, when the kids started to come into the booth, I just told them, you're welcome to look, but you can't play with the plushies unless you buy it. Then you can play with it. But you are more than welcome to look. I tried out, Stacy had suggested these like coffee cup holder things that slide onto the wooden shelves for displaying the car swings. So I tried that out, and I thought it was really cool how, you know, they're hanging there and then the breeze is coming through and they're swinging. I mean, I liked that because it drew attention. However, the kids still played with them. One of them I'm going to have to repair because they stretched it out so much. It now touches the bottom of the shelf just about. It's like you can barely fit your finger underneath it. And so I think next time I'm going to try it up one shelf higher. I mean, the kids are the ones that buy it. I think they don't realize what it's meant for. But at the same time, they don't need to be like playing with them and damaging them, and you know what I'm saying. So I'm going to go up one shelf higher and test that out. And then I did have this one little boy, maybe like 3. He's like, "Oh, giraffe." And, you know, Dad's trying to get him away from it because Dad don't want to spend no money. So I go over to fix the shelf and I'm like, "Giraffe? That's a cow." I'm like, "Where are my giraffes?" John hung them up with the loveys. I mean, it was like Moose the giraffe, you know, he's kind of like the sock monkey style. So he kind of looked similar to, you know, the loveys. But they were hanging up. But it was, you know, kind of cute. He's going to grow up to be like John. The cow is a giraffe. And for John, the giraffe is a moose. So, yeah. He's going to grow up to be a John. All right, so what did we sell? We sold 28 items. Like I said, nothing to write home about, but nothing to cry about either. Mostly low price items, 20 and under. I thought for sure twice that I had Shannon's standing toothless sold. A lot of people looking at it. I mean, twice I thought it was going to be sold. I don't know, maybe my price is too high on it. But I don't want to go by just the one market. I put 38 on it because it did take me, well, I don't know how long it took me because I made the head and one leg and then I took a nap and then I went back and finished the rest. And I did the tail twice because with my short stitch height, the tail was very short. So I redid it and made it a little longer. So I really don't know how long it took. Probably a couple hours. But I put 38 on that. I'm going to stick with it for a few more markets and see if it sells. And if not, maybe I'll adjust it down to like 35. I'm just not sure because I did it out of Parfait Chunky. It's not really big, but it took some time. But anyhow, what did we sell? What were the 28 items? We sold the last clownfish. So I had made 2. I sold one at the previous market and one at this market. And it was so cute. The lady that bought this, she couldn't decide between the chameleon or the clownfish. And I'm like, just get them both. And her friend is telling her, just get them both. And she's like, I'm trying to be the responsible adult here because she had already purchased from the other crochet vendor. She bought an octopus from that vendor. She showed it to me because I was asking her, was it a small one or a big one? I was just kind of curious. I'm still not really at the point yet where I feel comfortable walking over to another crochet booth and just like casually starting a conversation because, motive would be to go over and see what they have and how their pricing is. And I don't know, I'm not comfortable with that. I know a lot of people are, but I'm not one that's comfortable with that. Now, if I had Jenna or somebody with me, I'd be like, go over there and check it out and see what they have. Like how different are their things than my things? Now, I do know she has lots of other things besides plushies. I mean, plushies is not her main thing. So she's got a big mix of it. So anyways, this lady, she ended up getting the clownfish. And she bought one other item to go with that, a low price item, which I was happy to see one finally sell. Then we sold that dog, that wiener dog. I can't pronounce the official name. And I just made that one. And that one, I've struggled with the pattern each time I've made it. I've done it 3 times now. And each time I've had issues, but I've worked my way around to how it's comfortable for me to make it. So I guess I will have to keep making these little dogs because they are selling. At least make them till they don't. We sold to the cutest little baby in a stroller that looked like a tricycle. It was so cute. There were pedals, and of course he couldn't reach. He might have been maybe 9, 10 months old. So he can't reach the little pedals, but it's got the little handlebars and it's a stroller. But he got my blueberry turtle. And my fruit turtles have been around for a while. I just haven't taken them to a market in a while. And I came across those when I was picking through stuff to go to the market with Sue. So I had taken the fruit turtles. You know, it's like they can't sell sitting in the bag. Like, got to put them out there. And one other item that got a whole ton of attention were the Pop-Tarts. And I actually sold one, the cherry or strawberry, you know, the pink frosting one. So that sold. We sold a keychain mushy boy. And I'm just shocked. When the loaf cats were first out there, everybody was making them. All the channels were talking about them. I went and bought that Annie Caraway pattern, and I made a couple of them, and I'm like, I don't see what the attraction is. I really don't. And I didn't care for making them. And they've just been like sitting in a tote. So at last week's market, I took them with me, and I sold one. And it was the one that had, I used the eyes that had like the cat-shaped pupils. And that one sold. Well, I left the other one in my market bags and took it this time, and it sold. And I was like shocked. I don't know. I was shocked because, you know, I have to keep telling myself just because I don't like it doesn't mean that somebody else isn't going to like it. But it just wasn't one of those things that I thought was like, it wasn't really that fun to make. The smaller ones are much quicker, but they don't sell that well for me either. But, you know, it's kind of like the bees. Or the pickles, or the leggy frogs, or the Mabel chicken. You know, the market's saturated with them, so everybody has one. And one thing I learned when I was working with 7-Eleven for 30 years, every product has a life cycle. Every product, regardless of what it is. You hope to catch it on the way up, you write it out while it's plateauing, and you get out while it's going down. Every product has a life cycle. So we sold the large loaf cat. And, believe it or not, I sold a pickle. A regular pickle. First they're like, oh, what's this, a cucumber? Close, because the pickle was a cucumber before it became a pickle. Close. Sold one of the mini platypus, Avery Crafts a Lot's pattern, the one that I did in the Perry the Platypus colors. Sold one of those, and that was to the friend of the lady with the clownfish. Sold two of the little mini stingrays, the free pattern off of Instagram. So that's my first time selling any of those. And those two went to the same person who bought the Pop-Tart. The same little girl. She's like, Dad, which color do you like? And she's got two different stingrays in her hand. And he's not wanting to say because he knows he's going to pick the wrong color. And I'm like, Dad's going to say blue. So she ended up getting a peach and a pink. He said, just get them both. So then she traded the blue for a pink to match her Pop-Tart. We sold one axolotl, and that was my pattern. It was the light yellow with the gray fins, head ornament, whatever those things are called. We sold an axolotl lovey, and that one I did as a pattern test for Amanda. Eclectic Scribbles, I think her channel name is. But we sold a lovey, and loveys for me are very hit and miss. You know, I might sell 2 or 3 in a market. I might sell 1. Usually I sell 0, but when they start moving, they move. Before Christmas, they were great. I was selling quite a few. And I like making those. So then I got to go on a binge of making them. And then, of course, they stopped selling. Or they slowed way down, I should say. They didn't stop because I sold, at the Easter egg fling, I sold one. I did not sell any last week. I didn't take them last week. So that might be why I didn't sell any. And then one this week. I sold a bee. Can you believe it? I actually sold a bee, and it was the bee that is by Shield Maiden, that has the little legs and the antenna, and it's, you know, it's not the pill-shaped bee. And it was the regular yellow and black. So now I have the mustard and gray, I think, and terracotta and coral. I don't know. I have the weird colors left. But I sold a bee. Yay. 3 more and I can make an all from jade bee. And then chicks and eggs. We sold 3. Now, a lot of people were suggesting that I put different things in the eggs, you know, like a turtle or an alligator or dinosaurs, or, I mean, there was a list of things people were suggesting. But when you go back to every product has a life cycle, I don't think chicks and eggs have run that cycle yet. So I'm going to keep making those and putting them out until they've run that cycle, because those are still doing decent for me. I mean, considering as slow as the market was, and, you know, I still sold 3. I'll take it. We sold a Cookie Mouse. Mr. Nibbles is doing well, so now I'm down to 1 because I didn't get any made. So, I need to do a lot of things. Sold 1 of the very small mini birds out of the Parfait Chunky. I think I have 5 of those left, and, you know, when those are done, they're done, because I like the size they come out in the chenille brights. So that's just a decision. And then we sold 1 of the fruit fish, the yellow one, and that went to the lady with the clownfish. I was happy to see that sell. I've had those for a very long time, and they really don't get people looking at them, but we were able to successfully sell 1. We sold 1 of Saucy Puffin Crafts Itty Bitty Snakes, and it's the one I showed you that I made at the last minute at the beginning of this video. Now I have just a tiny little ball of that color left. It's definitely not enough to make another snake out of. We sold 2 chicken keychains, 1 ice cream cone keychain, and it was the mint chocolate chip, 2 small loaf cats, and they were both black, 1 Myrtle the turtle, and it was pink, 1 car swing, and it was a penguin on a swing. And then I sold my last Ninja Turtle. It was the orange one. So, those are done. Not sure I want to make any more. I mean, when I had all 4 of them there, you know, it's like, who would want to break up the set? But I guess everybody has their favorite. But each time it was 1, 1, 1, 1. So it was like 4 separate markets to sell the 4 Ninja Turtles. But I have this other pattern. I think I'm going to go back to the first pattern and try those again, especially since I am much better now at making my plushies than I was when I got that first pattern. So I'm going to try that again, I think. And they're a little bigger, so I can put a little better price point on it. So that was 28 items. I have to say, I got to use my new square reader and my iPad. Connected just fine with the hotspot on my phone. That was so much nicer than using the little swipe thing plugged into my phone. The iPad with the bigger screen and actually being able to, like, my fingers fit on the buttons. I was able to show John how to do it a couple times. So that if I walk away to use the restroom or go get a drink or anything like that, if someone came up, he could do it. He'll probably have to try it a few more times to feel comfortable with it, because I know I still have moments that I'm not comfortable with it. But being on the iPad, so much nicer than the phone. So much nicer. And even then, it doesn't have to be connected to my phone, because it will do offline sales. But I did have an instance where a lady went to pay and her bank card carrier or whatever declined the sale because she got a text message right away, like they're asking, is this you? I guess they thought it was a weird transaction, so she had to say yes, it was you, but it declined that card. And we wouldn't have known had it not been connected to the hotspot. So she had to tell it, yes, it's her. And then we ran it again and it went through the second time. She thought it was just the strangest thing. But that was so nice. So nice to use it like that with the iPad and that other reader. Is like so nice. I can't express how nice that was. Okay, so we had a total of 28 items. Now, this says 301, but it wasn't, because I never tested it to see if it was going to work. So when we got there, and I'm like, oh, I better test this. Otherwise, I'll be pulling out my other one, because I brought that as a backup and using it on my phone. So I charged myself $1 and went through, no problem. So it worked. I won't even get my whole $1 back because they're going to charge me fees on my $1. Okay, so we did a total of 300 in sales. 124 of that was cash. 176, that's me deducting the $1 out, was card. My fees, I'm not sure of the exact fee amount for my $1, but my fees this time were $6.55 for a total of $294.45. And then we need to deduct the booth fee from that. I'm just going to round it up to $58 because it's like 57 and some change because they charge tax. And that left me with $246.45. So, like I said, nothing to write home about, but certainly nothing to cry about either. So, yarn money. Okay, that's all I have. It just, things, even though it was off to a slow start, things just went smooth. And you have to appreciate smooth when you get it. All right, I will see you guys in the next video.